when I was in primary school, I wanted to be a pilot. Like, think of the dream, I wanted to become it. But then, right from that moment, I became the prisoner of this woman's world. I started sitting at the back in class. I couldn't look eyeball to eyeball with my siblings because it was as if they would see the monster in me. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Funmi Chris. If you're new on this channel, please subscribe so that you don't miss out on all the amazing content we're going to be posting. And if you're part of the family already, then I say you're welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about something very unique and special to me, and I title it White Street Children and Enjoy. It's going to be amazing. Alright, so my why is actually divided into two. There's an experience and then there's an encounter. So I'm going to start with the experience. So it happened that I suffered rejection as a child. I'm going to explain because I know my siblings are going to watch this and they're going to be like, where were you? You know. So we're 6, I'm number 5 in the family. And when we were young, under 10, myself and my younger sister, she fell. So she had a dislocation in her arm and it was casted in POP. So people were coming to greet my mom because we just moved to our house, which was, you know, a new site as at the time. So there was this particular woman that came to visit my mom. So we were all at the balcony. My younger sister was on the mat. I was there with her because we were the only one living in the house. I had no friend aside her. So I was there with her. The woman was there, you know, she was talking with my mom. Then my mom went inside the house and called me to come and give her a gift because she was about leaving. And that's the norm in Africa. There's always a gift exchange. So I can't remember precisely what my mom gave me to go give her. Either it was matches or salt. But my mom gave me something. So I collected it from my mom and I came to this woman outside where she was sitting at the balcony and I stretched my hand. I still remember it was my right hand I stretched to her. But she looked at me disgustingly and she said something in Yoruba language. Now, that thing she said, over 3 decades now, I've not heard it from anybody ever since she said that to me. She called me a name. She said, Oburewa Merindilogun. That was what she said. Now, I didn't know the meaning of the word, but I knew that what she said was not nice. So when she left, I went in and I asked my mom. I said, what's the meaning of Oburewa? And my mom said, someone that is ugly. I said, what's the meaning of Merindilogun? My mom said, 16. Meaning this woman called me 16 ugly girls put together. That's a monster. Now, instead of me to tell my mom that this is what your friend called me, I took it as my identity. You know, when I was in primary school, I wanted to be a pilot. Like, think of the dream, I wanted to become it. But then, right from that moment, I became the prisoner of this woman's world. I started sitting at the back in class. I couldn't look eyeball to eyeball with my siblings because it was as if they would see the monster in me. When I finished secondary school, I failed woefully. I had only Yoruba language because my initial is F, you know, for me. Maybe that was why they just added 9. It was terrible. You know those kind of results you collect, and when you're going home, you feel Jesus should just come. The world should end. Those are like when I gave it to my dad, I went to a boarding school. My dad was like, so this is the result of 6 years. It was terrible. Then daddy said, okay, you're going to re-enroll in another secondary school so that I will be able to rewrite my exam to be able to go into the university. Then one fateful day, I was in my dad's room. I was dressing up in front of the mirror. And then I was having conversation with myself. This would be my first experience of, you know, talking to self in the mirror. And it was like a voice speaking in my mind. And the voice asked me, Funmi, if someone like this should come to your class as new student, would you like to be our friend? I said, why not? Then he said, Funmi, you are beautiful. Then I look at myself in the mirror. For the very first time in how many years, I saw my beauty. Then I told daddy, I said, I don't want to go back to that school and be enrolled in SS3. That's the year that we write the exam. Like year 6 kind of. I want to go to SS2. Senior secondary school too. Yes, let me wear the socks, plait my hair and wear uniform like normal student. In fact, I wouldn't have mind even being put in SS1. Daddy was not happy with the decision because remember, he's going to pay school fees twice, SS2 and SS3. But I insisted and he agreed. So when he agreed, I was so happy. And when I was going to the school, I told myself, I said, Fumi, these people don't know you. They don't know what you've done in the past. You are new to them. Now, it is who you call yourself that you are that they will take you to be. So I went into the school with my head straight and my shoulders square. And guess what? In 3 months after I got into the school, I became the senior girl of the school. And this was how I got, my light back. Then from there, I went to Polytechnic. I started taking roles of, leadership. Then from there, I gained admission to University of Ibadan. So the whole journey started with Remand Home beside Poly Ibadan along the lane. Because I've met some people, our neighbors at the time, they were very notorious. So their parents took them, the 2 boys, 2 brothers, to Remand Home in Ondo State, Akure. And they always gist us about how they beat them, like they have timetable for beating them. And even my young mind knew that punishment can't reform, So that has actually made me to be passionate about Remand Home. So I just started with Remand Home. I kept on going there and all of that. I don't want to give too long stuff here, but with time, I'm going to talk about it. How I knew it was time for me to start the journey, because I started in my year 1 in the university, September 9, 2005 to be precise, and we kept on going to the Remand Home because I could see myself in these children. Then we kept on going to the Remand Home and all of that. Then we started seeing some atrocities being practiced at the home, where we would take things to the children and it would be shared by the officers. It was too bad. So I decided between the holiday between my 100 and 200 holiday, the 3-month-long vacation, I said, okay, I'm going to use it in an orphanage. Then I got a contact, a link. Then I was to send a letter to the orphanage in Akure. Then the letter was to be sent on the 10th of January. And on the 9th/10th of January, I had a revelation. And that is the encounter I mentioned the other time. I was sleeping. I'd written the letter. The plan was to meet up with the person I was to give. Then the person helped me take it there. And then I slept that fateful night, 9th of January 2006. Then I had an encounter. I saw a motor park with 5 Sienna cars and a driver. I was just passing. I wasn't part of whatsoever they are doing. Then the driver was there calling people into the vehicles. He was so passionate that he removed his shirt and he was rolling it. He was all in sweat. There was nobody, only him and the Sienna cars. Out of curiosity, I went back to meet him. Then I said, why are you so passionate? Where are you taking people to? And where are the people you want to take? And this man told me that where he's taking people to, they're in dear need of people there, but nobody wants to go. I said, that is it. Look at me. I want to go and work in Grace Orphanage. Now, that is where I wanted to volunteer. Grace Orphanage is owned by Pastor Funke Adejumo, my wonderful mommy in Akure. Now, I told him, I said, I'm going to Grace Orphanage to volunteer for 3 months. But other people want to go home and enjoy their 3 months. The man looked at me. He said, Grace Orphanage. I said, yes. He said, there are people there, but there's nobody in this destination where I'm taking people to. I said, yeah, that's people for you. Everybody wants to go home and enjoy their holiday. But look at me, I'm going to Grace Orphanage to volunteer for 3 months. The man looked at me. He said, Grace Orphanage. I said, yes. He said, there are people there, but there's nobody in this place that I'm taking people to. I said, yeah, that's people for you. Apparently, I said my own 3 times. He repeated his line 3 times. It was the 3rd time he was responding to me that it dawned on me that maybe I'm the one this man is actually here for. Maybe he wasn't looking for any other person. So I kept quiet and I looked sideways and I saw some children that they were using for child labor. Then I woke up. When I woke up, I knew, I got the interpretation of the dream, that that there are some set of children God wants me to focus my attention on, not those that are already in an organized home, either Grace Orphanage or even the remand home that I was visiting prior to that time. But then the best I could do was to go volunteer at the Grace Orphanage. Because remember I told you, I'm number 5 of 6 children. So no matter how old you are, you're still a baby in the hand of your parents. And for my dad to have agreed for me to go to Grace Orphanage, I better treasure it. So I went ahead to Grace Orphanage. And indeed, there are people there, because by the time I resumed back to school, I added flesh. Like my friends were like, it's as if next holiday, all of us are going to this orphanage. We thought you were going like missionary journey, but look at you. They stuffed me with provisions when I was returning back to school. But then doors opened for me at the orphanage, and I'm going to tell you. So Living Faith Church was clocking 25 years at the time. That was May 2006. And because I was a volunteer, I asked my supervisor, and she allowed me. Now, assuming I was at home, Daddy would never. But at the orphanage, they felt, oh, you're a big girl. But at home, forget about that one. So I was able to go to Canaan Land Altar, Living Faith Church. So one of the days we were at one of the eateries, Green Pasture precisely, and we were eating. Then some teenagers entered, all of them wearing the same kind of clothes, the same pattern of clothes. Then I saw this northern tribal mark in their mouth. So I called my younger sister's attention to it, because few years before then, we had watched a documentary together of a missionary in Kuma Hills, Adamawa, Nigeria, that has a free school for children from Kuma. In Kuma, they go naked, but he had a free boarding school, primary boarding school for the children. So the moment I saw the children, I don't even know what brought Kuma to my mind, because they could be from anywhere in the northern part of Nigeria. So I told Funke, I said, could this be Kuma children? And she said, let us hold on and see who will come for them, because we can still remember the picture and the image of Pastor Cowdy, the man there. And before we know it, Pastor Cowdy walked in. I jumped to go meet him. I said, good afternoon, sir. Are you Pastor Cowdy Momolosho? And he said, yes, any problem? I said, no, sir. I've seen your documentary. I love what you're doing. I see me doing it in the nearest future. Can you mentor me? And Pastor Cowdy looked at me and said, you see these children, if I don't feed them, they will feast on me. Give me time, I will call you when I'm done. I couldn't eat my food again. I was literally shaking. Then when he was done, he called me over and he lectured me for 3 hours. Like, it was as if that night alone was enough. And he said something. He said, for me, you've been reading about vision. It's time for you to come over to Kuma and see vision. Now, prior to this time, I'd never been to any northern part of Nigeria, not even to Lokoja, that is closer to, And so I was like, I'd seen Kuma's video, they go naked. I don't think I want to come to such a place. And he said something to me. He said, you will never feel and experience your vision, your dream, until you learn how to leave your comfort zone. And he told me, he gave me his card. He said, call me before Wednesday, because the moment I leave Yola and I enter Kuma, in Kuma there's no light, there's no network. The moment I enter Kuma, you cannot reach me again. So I told him, okay, sir, I'll make my decision quick. So I went back to the orphanage. I was like, God, should I go? Should I, Then I remember telling my supervisor, I said, Auntie, this and this and this is what happened when I went to Canaan Land. And she looked at me and said, you jump at every opportunity. I was like, Kuma is not an opportunity. So then I started feeling funny, like I had malaria and all of that. But over the years of living, I've cracked a particular code about the devil. And I'm telling you today because I know it doesn't have new trick. Anytime I'm to take a step that will change my life, I always feel feverish, like I'm sick, like I'm, But the moment I go, despite that feelings, at the entrance, the feelings will leave me. So anytime I want to do something and I'm feeling that kind of, I know that, God is at the other side. So I just need to drag myself off the limits, the devil will let me be. So I started feeling like that, so I know that, this is it for me. I called Pastor K on Monday. I said, hello, sir. I'll be coming tomorrow, sir. I'll be coming to Kuma on Tuesday. He said, oh, that's good. That means you will get here on Wednesday. Ha! I said, I don't understand. He said, it's 2 days journey. Oh boy. I said, okay, sir, let me think about it again. Eventually, I went to Kuma. 2 days journey from Akure to Jos. I passed the night in Jos, then continued my journey from Jos to Yola. On my way to Kuma, when we got to Bauchi, I experienced Alumanjelu for the very first time in my life. I saw them in their rags and their plates on them and flies all over them. It was terrible. I've never seen children in such a terrible state before. Like, I had some meat I was eating. I could not swallow it. I had to give it to them. Not out of passion, but irritation. I gave it to them. I was just looking at them. Then I remember telling God, I said, God, if these are the children you showed me, you were referring to in that dream, I don't have energy for this one. Please don't let it be this one. Then some missionaries came to town, then they picked me to Kuma. There's some people at the time that are in Yola that they don't even know there's anywhere called Kuma. It's like where they still go naked. You know, as at 1995, they still use 2 stones to strike each other for light, for fire. What we read about in the olden days, you know. So that is it. And when I got to Kuma, it was late in the night. And I remember the children, they started shouting, new man, new man, new man. I was scared. So I asked the missionary with me, I said, what are they saying? He said, they're saying new teacher. So, oh, okay. So for those that know me as Mafumi, that is where I got the name Mafumi. And that's the official name I use at our non-profit. And all of us, the staff and volunteers, that's the name, you know, I gave to everybody. So we have Madis, Madas, Sadis, Sadat, kind of a thing. I was there for like 10 days and I came back to Ibadan, came back to the orphanage, spent a week at home, then I went back to school. Then getting to school, they said, you know, the normal federal institution here, they said only 100 level and final year are going to be given accommodation to. So 200 and all the in-between levels should just go to off-campus. But I read so much about off-campus and I did not want to go. So I kept on going to the hall, hoping my name would be called as part of those that would stay in the hall. But I didn't know anybody, no button to press, so I just kept going. And one day it dawned on me that, for me, you're going to collect certificate too, but it's not from the hall, it's going to be from your faculty, from your department. So I decided to go pay my school fees and start my faculty registration. So I checked the time, I had like maybe an hour and a half to get to my bank and pay my school fees. So I rushed out. Then Niger Republic children, for those in Nigeria, you will know them. Like a complexion, they hug people anyhow. Like they will hug you so much, you will dash them your transport fare just for them to let you be. Then when I got to UI Gate, they were there. I always see them. When we are taking things to Rimando and they come close to us, we are always like, come on, get off. We are going to less privileged children. Like they were invisible, as if they were not there. They were not just human to us. Then I saw these 2 young boys. They were coming near me. I was rushing to the bank. So I just lift my hand up like, hey, don't move close to me. You know, and they got the memo. So they moved away. But as I was bringing down my hand, my elbow jacked to one of them. I felt it. And I called him. I said, I'm sorry. So the other brother followed. I said, what's your name? He said, Ibrahim. I asked the other one, what's your name? He said, Ibrahim. Like, 5 girls can be together and you ask all of them can be Aisha. Fine, not from the same parent, but they like to work in groups. I said, why don't you go to school? And they said, no money. I already knew the response they're going to give, that there's no money. So I gave them the loose change that was on me. And I entered into the bus that was taking me to Dubai, where my bank is, you know, UBA at the time. And I was inside the bus. I was sitting at the front. The bus conductor was calling people into the bus. So I was looking at them as they were hugging people up and down. So they would just look at me and just smile because, you know, I'm now their new friend. And as I was looking at them, the Holy Spirit spoke to me. He said, how will it look like having them in school? I just returned from Kuma where crazy things happen, where they face everything. I was like, wow, this is going to be amazing. Coma experience here in Ibadan, and I will be the one to champion it. I was so happy. But do you know that when I got to my brother's place that evening, still in Ibadan, everybody in the house, all the neighbors were talking about Niger people. Oh, they are dirty. Oh, they have jazz. They are this, they are that. Those were not the days of Boko Haram. They would have tagged them. It was as if it was a setup for me. My heart grew cold, and I told God, you need to speak to me again. I don't think I want to go ahead with all the stories I'm hearing about those people. And that day I lost my peace until 2 a.m. in the night. Then I carried my Bible. I opened it to Jeremiah 32, I think verse 17, where God said, I'm the Lord God of all flesh. Is anything too hard for me to do? And I remember I told him, I said, if you're the one sending me on this assignment, let them give me accommodation. Then he told me, the Spirit of God told me, that you get accommodation, but not this week, but next week, Friday. But you know the funny thing, I woke up, I'd forgotten about the whole thing. I kept on going to the hall every day. I went to the hall in UI, Idia Hall. I went all through that week. Almost all through the following week. I went till Thursday the following week. It was the Friday that I said they will give me. That was the Friday I stopped going. I lost it. And I said I will spend my 10,000 naira and I will stay with my brother, with my brother's family. I wanted to cut Anita Baker with the 10,000 naira. I spent 1,000, it remained 9,000 naira. Then in the afternoon, my friend just called me. I said, Fumi, your name is on the list. Hey, me. I said, you don't mean it. You mean you saw Fumilayo or Chris Omishopo? She said, yes, so you of little faith. Your name is on the list. Saturday, I ran there with my sister and I saw my name on the list. My friends were happy that finally, because some of them were in final year, so they've gotten their own rooms. They said, finally, Fumi is going to be in the hall. But deep within me, I know that I just signed a contract with God. So that was how my journey started. You know, so many things unfolded and all of that in between it. I mean, after that and all of that. And now, we're going to be 10 years in Ilorin. And this September, September 9, 25 till date, by September 9 this year, will make me 19 years. That I took the first step. But officially that we registered and all that, October will make us 10 years. So now, we have a free school for the children. We have a free school for them. We have a shelter for them. And it's so amazing. At the shelter sometimes I'll just look at the children because I know where we got them from. I've had series of volunteers and staff, but I've been the main person that have been witnessing it. And it had never stopped amazing me because, wow, I will look at the children from where we brought them, some of them giving birth to on the street, like by street beggar. And seeing the transformation is mind-blowing. And every time it reminds me that when God says, I will be with you, He meant every word of it. And that is where I would like to close this today. That as God said anything to you, as He promised you, your reality might not look like His promises for you, but I want you to be rest assured that you can take His word to the bank. He will be with you. If He says He will be with you, forget it is going to be with you. So now I'm going to be showing you different things about the children. You're going to get to meet them. Amazing stuff that you know that indeed God is the God of all flesh, to whom nothing is impossible. So thank you very much. This is the end of this video. Make sure you comment, you like, you subscribe, and you share. Share is very, very important. And make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much. And guess what? I will see you at the boardroom.